You're here, I'm pleased, I really feel your company. Your style, your smile, your pace mentality. Lord, have mercy on me. I was blind, now I can see what a king's supposed to be.
Excuse me, miss. I was in the waiting room when you gave your testimony. And what I realized is that we have an enemy in common. While you were being called to the office again, I was being put out the only home I've ever known. While you were shaking with anxiety and fear over something no one ever wants to hear, I was shaking in dread. Because we all know what happens to little girls that have no home and no one to claim them. I think our souls passed each other by. See, my soul left me a long time ago in a dingy motel room, ripped away by brutal force. It fled, unable to find its way back home.
Historical people, who would you want in your seat and why?
Wow. I guess because I'm different. You know, I'm not really starstruck. And so it would be hard to really pinpoint anybody in particular. First person that just came to my mind, you know, I mean, if I had an opportunity to cut Denzel, you know, I would.
That's a good one.
I'd do that.
That would be a dope conversation.
Exactly.
How important is diversity in your work, considering you grew up in a bilingual, bicultural home?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important. I think at this point, just in society, there's just so much diversity. You know, whether it be in language, whether it be in your upbringing, whether it be, you know, whatever that is. And so I think growing up in, you know, a bilingual household as well as really a bicultural, despite the fact that, you know, my parents are you know, both of Hispanic descent, but growing up in two different cultures of, you know, very traditional values in the home and very different, and sometimes similar values, right, outside of the home, but in different ways, right?
Yeah.
And so,
he tests those whom he loves. I pray he continues to love me till my death. I pray he continues testing me and testing me and testing me until I have no questions left. Until I can ingest knowledge and choke on lies and spit out truth with every breath. But you see, until love for what he loves and hate for what he hates is the only thing that's left within my chest. I know that I will constantly fight to love what's right because I was created with a heart that sits slightly to the left. But I'm okay with that. Because I always knew and always know that he knows exactly what is best. You see, he knew that it would only be a matter of time before I would open my eyes and finally realize that I needed to look deep down inside and pull out the divide so that my heart and my mind would collide and learn to work together.
What's good, my good people, online community? We are back like we never left for another powerful, insightful episode of Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People. I am your host, Willie Beeman. I'm excited about this one. I'm excited about this episode, man. This is a woman that I've definitely got a chance to grow and meet. Definitely been working on some things together, so we definitely gonna talk about that here in the show, man. But I'm definitely excited. It's all about making connections and building partnerships. Shout out to Miss Edna, who developed this partnership, man. Like, hey, you got to get her on the show. So I was intentional and made sure that we brought her on. But nevertheless, got to give her her introduction. She is a Los Angeles native, now firmly rooted in Texas. She's the CEO of Block Corporation, a multifaceted enterprise that includes KH Consulting, her Turo business, and her bold lifestyle brand, The King Sent Me. She is also a playwright, author, ordained elder, and life coach. She also is, which is, I thought this was very intriguing, the first African American woman in the nation to serve as a district chairman for the Boy Scouts of America. That's awesome, sis. And last but not least, she currently serves on the Minority Leaders and Citizens Council Board of Directors, online community, in-person family. Let's give a warm welcome to the one and only Miss Kasha Hunt.
Woohoo!
What's going on, fam? How you
Man,
doing?
I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah.
Glad to be in Forest Hill and with you and in this beautiful library. You know, I'm just ready to hear what you're gonna throw at me.
Oh
and
man,
have some conversation.
yeah,
and,
good conversation, good dialogue. Just like we sitting on the couch, man. Miss Hunt, I always like to kick off the show with our guests, allowing them to share their upbringing, their childhood, how they were raised, and what allowed that to cultivate them into the woman or man that they are today. And so I know you're a woman of many hats.
Yeah.
We just went through it, but share with us, who was Kasha Hunt as a child?
Wow. So as you stated, I was kind of raised in Los Angeles. I was raised off of 20th and Western, and right down the street from Marvin Gaye's parents.
Wow.
And so
that's interesting.
and so every day I walked to school past his parents' house, and that was the house where the tragedy happened. And so, but that's kind of just to give you a geographical idea. But raised in a 2-parent home, had 3 siblings, eventually. And I'm the second oldest.
Okay.
And I'm not going to lie to you. When I think about my childhood, I compare it to kind of like the Huxtables, or the Cosbys,
Yeah.
And just a, regular middle class family, nothing too major. Then we moved to Texas. And I was in about the 4th grade and moved out here, started going to David K. Sellers.
Yes.
And met Edna. And
shout out to Edna.
Yeah. And then my dad decided he wanted to step into pastoralship. And so my dad became a pastor, and that kind of changed our family dynamics a little bit. And but yeah, I would say what really developed me into the person I am is on my mom's side. She came from an entrepreneurial background.
I can see
so that. My mom was, whatever y'all want to do, she was that, person that says you can do it. She's at the front row at every play, at every reading, at every, debate.
Wow.
She's just that amazing support system. And then my dad had a very analytical mind. And so he always thought things through. And so he kind of helped us to begin to develop, thought processes. And so I believe that foundation was really what helped me to have the confidence to stand in these different areas that I've stood.
Wow. That's awesome. I think it's very important to have not only the entrepreneur side, but the analytical, to make sure that whenever you do go in business, or the Lord will lead you in that direction, to make sure that you're taking the right steps.
Exactly.
and having the right guidance. And so you also mentioned having that support system. I think that's awesome.
It's
Even
key.
for me,
Yeah.
with my parents, pushing me in certain things. My gift is, the dance. I love to dance. That's one of my things. And so they would always share a story of me being a baby as a child, how when I would hear music, I'll just get to moving, not really know what I'm moving to. But it started as a baby. And so I'm grateful that I'm able to showcase that through the area of mime. The mime ministry, been doing it for 10+ years, man. How it has definitely transformed lives and gotten testimonies from people that were going through tough times. Like, man, you really don't know how they blessed me. Having the ability to articulate something without even using words.
Yes.
And so I definitely think that's cool.
That's so coincidental, because the first area of ministry I stepped out in many, many years ago was mine. And I used to travel all over Dallas and Fort Worth, going to different ministries and different events, ministering through mime. And then then it transitioned into praise dance, leading praise dancers, teams, and
all of that. Wow, I just learned something new.
I know, right?
That's cool. How are the relationships going back to family? You mentioned the family dynamics. How are the relationship with your siblings and parents today?
Oh, it's amazing. We're kind of like, even though we've kind of all moved out and came back, we're all back in Fort Worth or Keller, Dallas, in the area. And we've got a really good family dynamic. Even though my parents are divorced, and they've been divorced over 30 years, they're still together every Christmas, together every Thanksgiving.
Wow.
You know, we just actually had Thanksgiving out at my brother's property at Lake Brownwood a couple of weeks ago, or whenever Thanksgiving was last month.
I
Last
seen
month.
it. Yeah, I seen it
Yeah.
on your face.
And my dad was there, my mom was there, my grandmother was there, and it was just it's an amazing. My grandmother just turned 100 this year.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And so it was amazing to be able to, you know, still celebrate Thanksgiving with her. So yeah, I would say the family's still very close.
Wow. Wow. Shout out to grandmother for
Right.
100.
Mama.
That's yeah. Shout out to mama. That is amazing, man.
Addie Pearl Hunt.
Wow.
Yes.
Allow her to live that long. That's amazing, man. To be able to cherish that and to create those moments with her
Absolutely.
while she's still here. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Take us through. We're gonna shift gears a little bit. We're gonna we're gonna shift a few times. Tell us about Block Corporation and the vision behind its diverse ventures. I know it has many facets, so kind of walk us through how that came about.
So actually, when Block was started, it was a construction company, and I had two business partners that were with me, and that those partnerships kind of dissolved, and I began to put other things under that corporate umbrella, if that makes sense. So I've been consulting for years, but I put the consulting under the Block just to kind of have a corporate umbrella.
Makes sense.
And then the same thing for the Turo business. Now Turo did start off under Block, I will say that. And so, but that's just literally putting some cars on the platform and just ensuring those rentals get out and in.
Yeah.
And then when you think about the King Sent Me, which is my brand, that was placed under Block, if that makes sense. And so Block is really just, in any corporation, is really just an umbrella to safeguard you from liabilities and different things like that. And so that was the strategy.
Wow. Going back to the Turo business, what was the idea or the mind frame in wanting to get into that lane?
So when I purchased a vehicle about 3 years ago, the salesman was telling me about it. I had never heard of it, you know. And so I heard about it. I was intrigued, but then I leave a year later. I go back for an oil change. He starts talking to me about it again. For some reason, they took 5 hours for this oil change, so I had time to test drive cars. And I was just like, let's just try it, you know, because I was looking for, you know, of course, another stream of income.
Exactly.
And so I just applied. And he called me and he was like, you got approved for 2 cars. And I was like, what? And he was like, come back right now. I went back, signed for 2 cars, and drove off with 2 new cars, and I've been on Turo ever since.
Wow, wow. I think it's definitely important in making sure we put ourselves in a position to have those multiple streams of income. I think that's very vital. Yeah, I know a few people who are actually in that in that industry, so I definitely wanted to get your mindset.
Yeah.
How that
Well, and the
about.
thing is that you can use your own personal vehicle. It doesn't have to be a vehicle you purchase. You know, if you don't do anything on weekends and you're just sitting at home, let somebody rent your car for the weekend. Make you $100 and, you know, go back to work. We good.
Yeah, I'm with it, Kasha. I'm with it. Talk more about the King Sent Me and what that consists of.
Okay. So the King Sent Me was actually initially a sermon that I preached about 3 or 4 years ago. And it was coming from the scripture where the man of God wanted to go and rebuild the temple, rebuild the walls, and rebuild. And
Nehemiah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And as he was going to the king, you know, he had to do a lot of preparation. But when he got to the king was like, you can go. But not only can you go, but I'm also going to send some of my men with you. But not only am I going to send some of my men with you, but on your way, I want you to stop by the forest and have them cut all the wood you need.
I remember that.
And so it was about him being sent, but not just being sent, but being sent with resources and being sent with backing and being sent with something in his hand, you know. And so as I was preaching that sermon, it's like the Lord is saying, look, when I tell you to go somewhere, you know what I'm saying? I've prepared you already. I've already got the resources lined out. I've already got people that's going to go with you, whether they're physically or, you know what I'm saying, whether they're physically, tangibly there or whatever. I've already made the preparations for you. The only thing you have to do is go. And so it was an empowering thing. You know, the king sent me, but then also because the king sent me, whatever room I walk in, doesn't matter who's there, how big the door is, or how big the room is, I got a right to be here.
That's
He
good.
shit turned it out my shot.
That's
Don't get me
good.
started. Don't get me started, because this is my thing. It's
Yeah.
my jam. But yeah, what
Wow.
the King sent me, and it gives you that strength. It gives you the encouragement. It gives you the boldness to know that I have a right to be here. And it doesn't matter if I'm standing next to Donald Trump right here and whoever right here. I got a right to be here.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well said. Well said. I think we all should take that in consideration. We all have different gifts. We all have different things that the Lord puts on the inside of us. And
Mm-hmm.
like you mentioned, sharing their story, preparation has already been laid. It's for us. It just takes the faith
Yeah.
to walk that out.
Yeah.
The just shall live by faith.
Yes. Come
And
on.
so, that's powerful. Well said. Well said. Take us to staying in this vein. You being an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, multifaceted. How do you balance expansion with sustainability? And the reason why I ask that is because you being a woman of having different things under your umbrella, how do you sustain that? Knowing that there's many areas that you have to attain to,
Yeah.
and that Lord is trusting you with.
Yeah. You know, in the natural, you can get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember there was a point where the Lord gave me this list of all these businesses He wanted me to start, and I'm just like, Lord, which one you want me to start first? And He was like, do it all. And I'm just like, in our thing, we're thinking I don't have the capacity.
To do
You know
that.
what I'm saying? Like my
Yeah.
capacity limited, but there is no, the capacity is limitless with Him. But I would say what helps me is being very organized and having tools to assist me with that, whether it's task management, whether it's a drive, or whether it's things to help me keep information together so that I'm not always searching and always trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So having that organization, it prepares you, and then creating workflows, creating automations,
Yeah.
that frees you up to do other ventures and other things.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Did that come from you taking the time to work on personal development and maybe seminars or workshops to make sure that you had the ability to do those things? I think personal development is so important.
Absolutely.
You mentioned organizational skills, time management,
Yeah.
things of the sort. And so did you take the time for yourself to say, okay, I'm doing these business ventures, but I have to make sure that personal development is a part of this?
Right. I would say I wouldn't necessarily say I pursued the information, but because of I guess the places I was working
yeah.
and the areas I was working in, I had to
Yeah.
expand my knowledge in that area.
Yeah.
A lot of organizational skills and different things like that were developed because I had responsibilities, and I had to figure it out, and also Google was a really good friend, because anything I didn't know, I could just Google, and like even today with chat.
Yeah, I know.
Unless it's like brain surgery, or I believe I can do anything.
Yeah.
I don't think anything is impossible for me.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah. Well said. We use that. Yeah, it helps a lot, man.
Yeah.
It helps take the stress, and you, like you mentioned earlier, being overwhelmed. How do
Mhm.
I do this? How do I do that? How do I run this? And so
Mhm.
it's definitely been a tool for a lot
Yeah,
of us.
because I just go in and say, hey, Chad, I need an organizational tool that's free that does this, 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 this. And Chad will say, hey, try this, 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 this. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Chad, I need somewhere to put all my passwords so that I can get them anywhere in the world. Chad will say, hey, try this, 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 this. And I'm like, okay, bet. And it works out well.
Yeah, it does. I totally agree. It definitely helps you save time, man, while you're not spending too much time on one thing. So
Yes.
yeah, I definitely agree. Technology is steady moving.
Listen, the one thing I realize is that time is the one thing you cannot get back.
Can't get back.
You can't get it back. And so you got to value every minute, every second,
Yeah.
and to get the maximum out of it, even if it's resting,
Yeah.
you got to make time for that too.
Yeah, you got to. Speaking on that point, knowing that you are a person with, diving into entrepreneurship, have many businesses, what do you do to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that way you don't experience burnout?
Right. I Sabbath.
Yeah.
When we look in the Bible, it talks about Sabbathing. And even when it came to the earth, when he was telling them to go and plant, he said, every 7 years, let the earth rest, let it Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
And so God has been telling us all along the importance of rest.
Rest. Yeah.
And so Sabbathing
Yeah.
is just taking a day where you're not doing anything work related. You're not doing anything that you consider work, because some people consider washing dishes work. Like some people enjoy it, like I love it,
Yeah.
and some people are like, oh, I gotta do these dishes. Well, if you're like, oh, this is work, then you don't do that
You
on the
don't do
Sabbath,
that.
right? And just spending time with God, doing daily encounters.
That's important.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
so important.
Yeah. 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 Same here. I do some of the, similar things, whether it's
Mhm.
just, spending time with work, spending time with the wifey, going to get dinner, whatever it is, making sure I'm not doing anything
Yeah,
work related, because eventually it's still gonna be
yeah,
there. So you
exactly,
still got to take time, that way you're not, overwhelmed, and you're locked in once you get back to that assignment. So
absolutely.
yeah, I totally agree. How do you build systems that support growth without, having a burnout, knowing that you have a team and things? So how do you build systems in place?
hmm Um, I think that first you have to analyze the overall picture
Yeah.
before you could build a system to see what's connected, what's not. Um, I would say fundamentally, just kind of taking apart whatever it is you're trying to build a system for to see what's going to work best. So, like for me, like I said, I implement workflows in some things
Mm-hmm.
because some things are repetitive. Like if I get a call for an appointment and they book that appointment, then there's a subsequent reminder and there's a this, there's a that.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
doing this every time with every customer, then it would behoove me to figure out how I can get that done without it including me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Makes sense.
And that
Yeah.
will create that system because that's a system you're creating in that moment.
Moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. What I'm hearing is getting to a point to where you're not so hands on, to where
hmm
you have a seamless
Yeah.
thing working.
Especially if you're not in a position to hire,
Yeah.
4 or
Yeah.
5 people to come help you, or even one,
Yeah.
to come help you. Yeah, you gotta create systems for yourself.
Systems. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Going back to you mentioned hiring.
Mhm.
One thing that we value here at the library is, the team that we have. Well, each one of us have different abilities, different skill sets, but we
Mhm.
all have the ability to come together to make it work. Whatever their program is, whatever that event is, whatever the community wants us to do.
Mhm.
Each one of us have certain skills, but when we come together, it's a phenomenal thing.
Yeah.
And so, for you, what values are non-negotiable for you when it comes to building a team? What would you say?
Um, what values are non-negotiable? So I would say one value is honesty, and that's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Um, because the reality of it is, without transparency, you can't make wise
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't develop trust, and you can't grow, you can't build together.
Yeah.
And so I would say honesty is one value that
Yeah.
cannot be.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mhm.
totally agree. You mentioned that being in service yesterday, Bishop Allen kind of touched on it. He talked about transparency. He talked about transformation, and like you said, transparency is definitely a key component when it comes to building teams and building businesses. That way, sure, making sure everybody understands,
Mhm.
the purpose
Mhm.
and what's being done. And so, because if you're not, then there's just going to be a lot of confusion and think everybody not being on the same page. And so, yeah, I
Right. But
definitely
I
agree.
would say not even just transparency in what you're doing, but be in transparency in who you are.
Or yeah,
You know, because the truth is that we've all fallen short of His glory.
yeah,
So therefore, none of us are perfect. And it's the hardest thing for people to admit that I'm not perfect. It's the hardest thing to admit that I've made mistakes.
yes,
It's the hardest thing to admit that what I did 2 years ago, I messed up.
yeah,
But I'm a new person now. I'm a new mindset. But for some people, going back to that old person is like a shameful thing, and it shouldn't be,
mm.
because we all,
Yes,
we all
yes,
have made mistakes. We just might not want to tell everybody,
yeah,
and everybody don't need to know. But there are times and moments when transparency, and actually transparency all the time, is key. It's key
yeah,
because when I tell you about my maybe some past failings or different things like that, it'll make you feel comfortable. I'll test the mic. It'll make you
it's
feel
cool.
comfortable to kind of share where you are. You know.
Yes, 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 yes. I totally agree. Because if we don't, do that, then it's hard for people to open up
Mm-hmm.
to us and
Mm-hmm.
share certain things as well. So nah, you're right. It should
Absolutely.
be across
Yeah.
the board.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We're gonna shift again.
Okay, let's shift.
Like we mentioned in the bio, that's definitely something I want to hear more about. You made history as the first African American woman district chairman for the Boy Scouts of America. What did that moment represent for you? What was that like for you?
It was mind blowing for me because I had no idea that. I'll just say I had no idea that that was the case. And so when my regional manager shared that with me, I was uh, I was excited, but then a part of me was like a little saddened because here it is, 20. I think at that point it was probably 2018 or some 2017, 16. That up until this point, Boy Scouts of America has never had an African American district chairman. Um, in the nation,
Mm.
it was a saddening
Oh, yeah,
thought
yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Knowing that you felt mixed emotions with
Yeah,
that, there's this level of, hey, I'm happy, I'm excited, I appreciate, but on the flip side of it, like you mentioned, there's this deep sadness.
yeah.
How did you juggle and get through those emotions?
Um, I didn't get overly emotional, but I think the happiness went out. It superseded that,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
just having that transparent moment, like, man,
Yeah.
but then like taking a moment to celebrate and
Yeah.
say, you know what, good job. Even though you didn't even know that that wasn't even a goal,
Go. Yeah. Yeah.
but it was definitely an accomplishment.
Yeah. 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 And I think we got to get better at taking a moment to celebrate certain things that we achieve, because a lot of times we can get something done and say, okay, what's next,
Mm-hmm.
what's next, what's
Mm-hmm.
next, and not really sitting with ourselves and taking time to say, okay, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Even though I probably wasn't going after it or striving after it, I
Yes.
still have to take a moment to celebrate it because it's huge. And so yeah, we definitely got to get better at relishing those moments.
Yes,
It's very, very
absolutely.
important.
Probably about 15 years ago, TD Jakes was talking about that. We did a interview and they, took a small snippet of it and I shared it because he was saying that you got to celebrate every victory.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's not only the big things.
Yes.
It's not, oh, I had a baby, let's celebrate. Like, no, I just passed my 30-day probation period. Let's
Celebrate.
celebrate. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
My car is full up. Let's celebrate. No, I'm just joking. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Celebrate the steps. Because what will happen is if you don't celebrate the steps along the way, you'll get to the end and you won't feel the fullness of what you're
You
supposed to
won't
be
be fulfilled.
celebrating.
Yeah. You
You
won't be
know?
fulfilled. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
celebrate every step. If you've got a plan and you say, okay, step one is to do this. When you finish step one, celebrate. When you finish step two,
Celebrate.
celebrate.
Yeah. Well
Yeah.
said. Yeah. It takes me back to April 2023. I had a major foot surgery, and I was out probably for like almost a year and a half. And so,
Wow.
going through that process, man, taking a moment to celebrate those small wins. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm able to put my a shoe on
Yes.
so I can walk. Now I'm able to
Yes.
feel strengthen my ankles and able to walk on my own. I don't need a cast or crutches anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
so going back to what you were mentioning, I think we overlook those small wins. We get
Yes.
so fixated on
Mm-hmm.
the big things
Yes.
when he's trying to show us this is a win too.
It's a win.
It's a
It
win.
fit in the shoe.
Yeah,
That's a win.
that's a win for me. I was embarrassed for months, man. The fact that I was
Right.
able to put a shoe on, like, okay, well, I'm getting somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, so no, I definitely agree with that. Uh, Being in that, having that achievement, talk about some of your leadership lessons that forged through that experience, or some leadership lessons that you learned
Um,
achieving that, or just people that were around
yeah,
you.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I would say that particular position that I was holding as district chairman of Urban Woodbine District was a voluntary position. I was
Mm,
a volunteer, and I was surrounded by a board of volunteers, and just to see the effort working with the schools, getting kids enrolled in Boy Scouts, helping them get paid to go to camp, getting,
wow.
paying for they can get their badges and different things like that. Um, as far as the leadership points that I could point out, I had never led a board. I'll just start off there. I had been on a board, but I'd never led a board. And so I would say for me, um, the points that I would point out is that don't ever discount yourself.
Mm.
You know, don't doubt your capabilities, because sometimes people will see more in you than you see yourself, and your own self-doubt can cause you to fail because you don't believe you can do it, and so therefore
Yeah.
your beliefs can, govern your actions, and so now you're acting like you can't do it,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
doesn't get done. And so I would just say believe in yourself. And once again, if I would have had the king sent me back then, I would have used it, because I'm in the room with these known people throughout the community, on this board. And for me to come in and be able to lead them for 2 years was awesome.
Wow. Wow. If you could describe leadership in your own words, what would that, be for you?
If I could describe it,
In
I
your
was
own
in my
words.
own words.
Yeah, in
Okay,
your
I
own
would
words.
say leadership is the ability to okay, yeah, I guess
In your own words.
right. Leadership, because I got so many words going on in my
Yeah.
head right now, but I'll
Yeah.
just say, just to simplify it, it's the ability to lead.
Mm.
Would be the simplified version.
Mm.
But to expand on a little bit more, I would say leadership is having the ability to balance yourself, to develop trust in others, to because people have to trust you to follow you.
Yeah.
And so it's the ability to develop trust in others, but also have the insight and the ability to take somebody from A to B.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Staying there,
Okay.
how do you keep your voice strong in rooms that try to silence it? And the reason why I ask this is because I've had conversations with, family, friends, or uh, staff here to where um, our voice, is needed. We all have things that we can share. We all have things that we can bring to the table based on our own, life story. I think a lot of times we don't share it because we feel like we're not capable, like you mentioned earlier. And so, being in these different rooms and different spaces that you've been in, how do you keep, your voice strong rather than people trying to silence you?
Right. I would say our voices are very powerful. Even the Bible says that life and death is in the tongue. So we have the ability to speak life to a thing, and we have ability to kill things with our mouth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of murderers watching this right now. But no. So knowing when to speak is very important, because everything doesn't need to be addressed. Um, and so I would say knowing when to speak is one of the key elements. And then also knowing what to fight for, if that makes sense.
No, it do
Because,
make sense.
yeah, knowing what to fight for and then having a strategy for that fight.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we come in and we got we're pulling out, guns blazing, but there's no backup, there's no plan, there's no strategy, and it's just like you're just a blowing trumpet. And so I would say anybody that doesn't have a strategy or a plan behind what they're saying probably will not have much validation to their voice. And so the way to keep your voice relevant is to be relevant, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
and to actually put in the work, study what you're talking about, have, receipts, details, whatever, so that you can kind of undergird yourself.
Yeah. It takes me back to I think an analogy I seen on social media a while back when it comes to being intentional, having strategy. They used the character Arnold Schwarzenegger. Most of his movies, he's all over the place shooting with the machine gun. But then they brought up another guy who's a hitman, and he has intentionality. Yeah, he's a sniper, and they used that video in regards to you being in certain rooms of how you have to be locked in on one specific task and target. rather than just shooting
Mhm.
at multiple things and you don't get anything, get anything done. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta have that. We're gonna shift.
Okay.
We're gonna
Let's go
we're gonna
again.
shift gears again. Walk us through the backstory of how Kasha Hunt Ministries came to life.
Backstory of Kasha Hunt Ministry. So, of course, I'm Kasha Hunt. So it's my personal ministry. I've been in ministry for many years, and in church, in a church setting. But in 2023, the Lord told me to launch my own personal ministry, and what that looked like was having services every month. It also I have a prayer tent that I kind of go around the city to different
Wow.
events, and we go out and we pray in the community. We were going up to Renaissance Square every week, but then they stopped us from being able to be on the parking lot. But Kasha Hunt Ministries is really a ministry to the people, because I truly believe that the Lord has so much He desires for us. But for me personally, it's about getting free. It's about freedom. He wants us to be free. And there are so many of us bound by religion, bound by our beliefs, bound by, different things. And so that's what that ministry is about. And whether it's things being revealed in prayer, through prophecy,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like, however the Lord wants to do it, that's the goal.
Well said. I think it's important, man, to make sure that we are serving in the community in the way the Lord needs us to serve. Uh, See, Jesus had 12. He had doing different things and having
Yeah.
multiple assignments, and so yeah, I think it's very very vital when it comes to meeting the needs,
Mhm.
of our people. I had no idea that you were doing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's that's awesome.
Mhm.
Also, studying your bio, one word that I saw that I've heard throughout multiple guests being on the show is the word healing.
Mhm.
And so, for you, why is healing such a central thing, in your ministry? Why do you think healing is vital, to everyone?
Oh, it's definitely vital to everyone because nobody want to be sick. But why do I think it's essential in my ministry? I don't necessarily um, think on it, think in that terminology, if that makes sense. It's all essential to God,
Yeah,
and so I don't even look at it as my ministry, if that makes
it
sense.
makes sense.
But healing is essential. Um, period. But as far as how it works in my ministry, it was just a gift, the gift of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I never forget when the Lord showed me that I had it. It was a night, there was a lady that had kind of offended me. And I was sitting in my car and I was waiting for someone. And the Holy Spirit kept saying, go and pray for her. And I was like, psh, I'm praying for her. This is years ago. But I was like, I'm not praying for her. I'm not praying for her. The Holy Spirit kept on. And I was like, ugh. So finally, I just got out the car because he wouldn't leave me alone. I go back in. I said, can I pray for you? She says, yes. I pray for her. 3 days later, she comes back and she says, thank you so much for praying for me. I'm completely healed. I've been having this for all my life and I don't have any more issues with it. And in that moment, I was just like, even against my own will, I didn't even want to
Wow.
do it. The Lord is like, so yeah. So for me, I was like, man. And then just over time, praying for people and just them coming back, sharing the testimony, that man, I don't have asthma, my asthma.
It's cool.
My asthma's dried up, or not dried up, but it's gone. Different
Yeah.
things like that, and just kind of confirmed that
Yeah.
gifting.
Wow. That's definitely an essential gift to have. I mean, definitely the gift of healing. For me, it would be the gift of exhortation,
Yeah.
having the ability to, encourage, anybody
Yeah.
from any walk of life, no matter your skin color, no matter where you're from, no matter your background, just having that ability to have words to speak life, into people and let them know that it's gonna be all right.
It is. It
You're
is.
gonna get through it. He's gonna give you the strength and the wisdom and all of that to get through it. And so that's definitely been a big one for me is exhortation. Of course, teaching. That's what I
Yes.
like. Yeah, that's a huge one as well. Having the
Awesome.
ability to exegete and
Yes.
pour into people, have those studies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been an amazing journey.
That's
Ran from it
awesome.
in the beginning. Yeah, I
Most
did.
did. Most
Yeah,
do.
I
Most
did.
do.
But he was like, "Nah, this is what
Yeah.
you're supposed to be." And so, year after year, started to cultivate it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's him who deposits, but it's up to us whether we do something with it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, definitely been an exciting journey.
Yes. Trust.
Yeah, definitely been an exciting journey. Let's get into this nice piece here. Your book, Changing
Yes.
of the Guard.
Changing of the Guard. Yes. Changing of the Guard, overcoming the spirit of manipulation
Hmm.
is the subtitle. And this book I actually started writing maybe 6 years ago, and I wrote one paragraph and stopped. And then, no, I'm sorry, what year is it? 25. So this would have been 2019.
Hmm.
I wrote one paragraph and stopped. Well, of course, COVID came 2020. And the Lord's like, finish the book. And I was like, okay. So I go, I'm like, one paragraph, Lord, you know. But it was so dope because when I sat down, it just flowed. It just flowed. And I literally wrote it, I think, in like 3 days.
Wow.
But it's such a powerful testament of, it starts off telling the story of kind of like my childhood of, because we have to understand, we got to go back to the root of the thing,
Roots. Yeah,
the
I've
root
heard
of
that on
your
the show before.
beliefs, the
Yeah.
root of, you know, and so I had to go back, start back from where the root started. And it just literally tells the story of the marriage that I had where I was married to someone that was operating under the spirit of
The
manipulation.
Wow.
Yes. And, you know, we call it narcissism. And sometimes we have physical things happening that actually are spiritual. And so it was literally me just writing about my experience of seeing this spirit up front, talking about its functionality and how it operates and how to get free from it and how, you know, triggers and identifiers and all
Wow.
those good things. Yes.
Wow. 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 Who were, as you were writing this book, putting it together, who were those people in your corner helping you get through that season? Because I'm pretty sure that was difficult for you going
Mhm.
through that relationship, but at the same time, the Lord putting this in your hand to write.
Right.
You know, how was.
So I would say at the time I was writing it, nobody knew.
Hmm.
Um, I had already been divorced, you know, that was all over. So, but during that period of going through that divorce, the people that were there, of course, were my family,
Yeah.
my parents, my brothers, my sisters, and yeah, just really encouraging me, uplifting me.
Yeah.
And at the time, I went back to I was at my dad's church, and then my prior pastor actually came to my dad's church and got me back and took me back to the church. And so I would have to give Evan Risher some
Yes.
credit as well.
Yes. Evan Richard, that's what's the name of the ministry? His name sounds familiar.
Ramp Church.
Ramp.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Definitely
I
familiar
had
with
to
him.
give him credit.
Okay. Good. How can people, I guess those that are watching, how can we find this awesome book? Where can people buy this book?
So, you know what? I'm just gonna say to find this book, I would encourage them to hit me up on my social media. And the reason why I say that is because I just shut down my website that I've had for like 10 years. But the point is that I'm switching to a Canva website, and so
Okay.
that'll be up in a couple of weeks. But I would say I'm Kasha Hunt. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all under Kasha Hunt. And that would be the best way
Yeah.
to reach me about the book or my cards. Yeah.
Gotcha. What has been some, I guess, reactions from people who have, read your book already? Have you got some stories
Yeah.
from people that have been
I've got
blessed?
some testimonials and some different things like that. And so far, everyone that's read it has been very impressed with the writing, but also sharing how it kind of affected them
Yeah.
and how they realized that they had been victims of this before,
Wow.
or maybe even identified it in someone in their family.
In their family. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's been all good.
Wow.
Mhm.
Definitely gonna have to cop that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an amazing. Even sometimes you ever do something, and then you go back and look at what you did, and you like, I did that. You
Yes, I've
know,
done that.
I have
Yeah.
those so many times. But when I read my book, that's what I'm just like, I can't believe I wrote it. But that's why I know it was the Holy Spirit writing through me.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It takes me back to a story, like I mentioned earlier, being in the Mind Ministry. Me and my brother Brandon, we had did a piece to Break Every Chain by Tasha
Mm-hmm.
Cobbs, and we was at an event downtown Fort Worth, and did did our thing, did what we was called to do, come off stage, meet and greet everybody, getting these applauses. But there was one specific family who came to us as we were leaving, Hispanic family, and the daughter was like, "Man, you don't know how well you guys are blessing me as I was on the verge of taking my own life.
Jesus.
But seeing you guys bless me through this artwork, man, it really gave me hope,
Yeah.
and encouragement. Like, I'm gonna be okay." And so, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those stories, man, they really, really hit home.
Yeah.
And you can go back and like, man, I did that through his help. And so, yeah, I'm definitely grateful.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely grateful. Staying in this, we'll shift a little bit. I want to talk about our experience. Shout out to Gwinnett Nelson,
Hey,
G
Gwinnett.
Baby, Some Hurts Are Beyond Tears.
Yes.
That's coming here soon in January. Know me and you are definitely characters as
Yes.
part of this cast. So kind of just share with me, what has your experience been like so far?
It's been great. I tried out for it, got the part. I was like, hey. But I love acting. I love writing. I love directing. I love plays. I love making movies, and so it's all in my wheel well. So I just look at it like this is an amazing project that I'm enjoying being a part of, and I'm just glad to. Looking forward to being able to show everyone all the fruit of our labor.
Of course, yeah, me too. I'm definitely excited. And actually, when Gwinnett came to me the first time about it, I was really hesitant because I was like, I don't know, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it because there wasn't a whole lot of men, in this play. So took it, looking over the script, looking over the character. Like, okay, it's gonna be a challenge, but I feel like I've been definitely doing a great job at it.
Absolutely.
And the challenging piece has been because my scene is between son and mother who has this disdain against his mother, abandonment, being left behind, being felt left out. So in real life, for me, my relationship with my mother is awesome. It's great. It's wonderful. So having to channel, that character and have those emotions, man, it's definitely been a challenge. But I feel like I've been getting better. I mean,
yes, absolutely. We all getting better.
Yeah, we all getting better, man. You guys doing a great job with the friend scenes. Yeah, I'm definitely
Yes.
loving it. So I think this is gonna be a play for everyone to come see, no matter who you are, no matter what your walk of life is. I think everyone that'll be in those seats will have the ability to relate to any character as well. But also
Absolutely.
another thing that has helped me with this character is having the ability to channel real life experiences, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Going through things, that I went through 36 years of my life, but also channeling that to, develop that character. So yeah, I'm excited. We around the corner.
I know. January is coming up.
Yeah, it's here, man. It's around the corner.
It is around the corner. And so but I'm excited about it. And I'm looking forward to everyone just kind of doing these multiple performances.
Yeah. Yes, Gwinnett got us working. She got us working.
Don't add no more dates.
Yes, that's January 15th through the 17th, I believe. 2026. I believe the 15th is at 7, 16th is at 7. And that Saturday we'll have a 12, 3, and 7. So yeah, Gwinnett is putting us to work. But
yes,
I promise you'll be blessed.
Yes, you will.
With you being playwright and author, how does creativity serve your calling? How important is having that creativity in regards to writing certain scripts or putting together that book you put together? How important is creativity?
It's very important.
Yeah.
It's very important. And I feel so bad because we say word curses over ourselves all the time. And my mom and my sister were always these amazing crafters. They could just like take these 3 books and make a house, and you'd be like, what the heck? That came from books, and I never had that creative side. So I always said, I'm not creative. I didn't get the creativity. I got the analytical from my dad,
Right.
So for years, I convinced myself I wasn't creative, And so then when I started writing my plays and started doing these different things, people were like, you're so creative. And they began, to speak like, you're creative. I was like, well, and then of course, creative became an actual job title.
Yeah, it did.
Like in the last couple of years.
Yes.
And so I would say that we're all creative in a one form or fashion,
Yeah,
and because God is a creator.
He is.
And we're made in his image and likeness. So we are
Facts.
all
Creator.
creators. And so
Yes, sir.
is it important in every aspect? Absolutely. It's embedded. It's a part of us. It's we can't help it. We can't get
Yeah.
away from it.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. 'Cause a lot of times we sit on certain gifts, we leave them on the shelf and forget about them. But yeah, like you mentioned earlier, we are all creatives in our own right,
Mhm.
man, our own form of fashion. Whether you're a fashion designer, whether you're in the entertainment industry, whether you're an author, whether you're a fitness coach, whatever it is,
Whatever it is.
yeah, we're all creative. We're all offering something
Mhm.
to the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, we all have the ability to offer something. Going back to this writing piece, you being a playwright,
Mhm.
I thought this very intriguing. Was writing something you chose, or something that kept choosing you when it comes to your writing and writing plays and
It,
writing a
it
book?
keeps choosing me. And the reason why I say that is because, when you're a kid, you always have your vision of what you're going to be when you grow
Of
up.
course.
And as a kid, I never forget, I said I was going to be a writer. And at the age of, I think, 12 or 11, I wrote my first romance book.
Hmm.
It was only 13 pages or 20 pages, but still,
It's still.
I was a writer. But as you grow up, you forget about those dreams. And so I forgot all about that.
Hmm.
Went on to a career in accounting and all these other amazing things. And, but it kept coming back
Yes,
around,
kept coming back. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. Same here.
Hmm.
I think I felt the same way about about dance. I,
Really?
I couldn't get away from it, man. It was just something that was embedded in me, like I shared earlier,
Hmm.
at a young age, man. And it's something, that I still do, that
Yeah.
I have a passion for. So I don't know if I'll be
Yes.
89 years old with a cane, still trying to dance, but
And you want to hear
hey,
something crazy? So, for years I wrote plays, but kind of like under the ministry. And then I think that the last two plays I kind of broke out and did something in the cultural arts district here.
hmm,
I did a play there. I did one at this other theater, but I kind of stopped doing plays every year because it was a tradition of
right,
every year. And so it it actually came back around with an opportunity. And a friend of mine shared that I wrote plays, and they put out a call and said, "Hey, we're looking for playwrights. Send your resume." So I
wow,
sent my resume, and they reached back out to me, and they're like, "You're one of the writers we're hiring." And I was like, "Yes." So they were like, "This, we need these 10-minute plays." And so they give me my topics. I go, I write these 10-minute plays. I send them off because we're supposed to be going through this process of back
right,
and forth,
hmm,
review. Well, all of a sudden I get an email saying, "Hey, there's a play competition. Do you guys mind if we submit your plays?" And I'm like, "No." But I'm just like, it's only, y'all ain't even really reviewed it, but okay. They send it over. They tell me, create a title page, create this. They send it over. They end up accepting mine
hmm.
into the 2025 Theater Fest,
Wow,
which was just recently in Arlington a couple months ago,
wow,
across from the stadium.
that's cool.
And so I go to the competition. They actually, I work with this group of actors. They perform my play live. I won Playwright of the Year
Wow,
for 2025.
that's awesome.
I'm like, man, I come off the bench just, no, just like, it's all good.
That's awesome,
It's
man.
all
And so,
good,
how did that make
yeah.
you feel, knowing
Man,
that you haven't been in this for so long? Like you come back to it, and it's
I'm gonna be honest with you. When it happened, I didn't even take in consideration how the fact that I had been writing. I was just so uh, happy,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because it was like a validation for me of all the years that I did
Of
write.
course, yeah, yeah. Wow, that's
Hmm.
awesome. That's awesome. Staying in this art thing, what's next for Miss Kasha Hunt? Do you have any other books you looking to write? Any other ideas in regards to your writing? What's next in those areas?
Yes. So normally, when you've got an assignment, you got to work through it.
Yeah.
So there's an assignment I've been working through. There's a book that I was told I was going to write 2 years ago, and I've been kind of working through it. And it's about change your language, change your life. And we were just talking about the power of words.
Words, yes.
And just understanding the power of words and how you can change your life just by changing your words.
That's
And so
good.
for me, I've been in like this testing period, and it started off with little slight tests, like, you know how you have that one person that calls you that maybe you don't want to take the call because they might be irritated, you know, whatever the reason might be. Well, there was this young lady that used to call me, and whenever she called, I'd be like, oh Lord, you know, I ain't gonna lie to you, that's where I was. But as the Lord gave me the idea for this book, she called me, and I was like, oh no. And then the Lord said, change your language, change your life. And so I said, you're right, God. I said, oh, I'm so happy she's calling me. This is going to be a productive call. This is going to be awesome. And I answered the phone, and it was the most productive, amazing call I'd ever had with her.
Wow.
And it was all because I changed my language about it. And so these are the kind of tests that the Lord has been kind of taking, because I'm not going to put nothing out there I ain't testing and tried and true. And so, yeah, I've just been working that out. And for me, my goal is the summer of 2026 to just book me a hotel for a week and write the book, come back to the house and keep pushing.
Wow. That's funny you mentioned words. I follow another business spiritual leader, Dr. Darius Daniels, church in Atlanta called Change Church. And he's always emphasizing on how we do need to get better when it comes to our words. And one phrase that he always uses is, we get better at building things when we get better with our words. And so now I think that's very, very important, because like you mentioned, we can either give life to a thing or we can kill a thing based on, you know, what comes out of our mouth. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a game changer for a lot of people if they listen. You know.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
You know, this is my favorite part of the show. What's your library joy? As we talk about our experiences with libraries, all those different things, and also get your insight and input on our expansion project. And I'll share with you earlier. I'm excited about a few things, but I want to hear what you're excited about.
Okay.
And so, just kind of walk us through your experiences, you know, with libraries or just growing up in libraries.
Yeah, I would say my earliest memory of libraries was when I was a kid. You know, of course, my parents got me a library card, which I encourage every parent, get your children a library card, because it's like when you walk into the library as a child, it's like a whole new world. You know, you like come in, you're like, it's just yes. I would encourage you to do that. But my experience was just as a child, you know, on weekends, on a Saturday, going up there with my little brother, and you get in there and you're like, yes. And, you know, there's all these activities, but then there's these amazing books and just sitting down. And to be honest with you, that's what developed my love of reading. And I loved reading so much that, of course, I did more of it. Well, what that does is it increases your vocabulary, it increases your, you know, your education, your all these different things. And so I would say that those initial library experiences really shaped my learning as a child.
Yeah. Same here.
Yes.
Even my experience, you know, working here, came here last year, March of 2024, and had no idea of some of the things that they were had going on here from different programs, especially for our youth with our story time we have every Saturday and Tuesday at 10:30. You know, seeing those kids, but also the parents being active, man, and going through their process with their children. But yeah, reading is definitely an essential thing when it comes to our vocabulary and education and, you know, careers and whatever it is. We have to have those ability to not only read but also write as well.
And then finding out about the rest of the world, you know, because sometimes you just only encounter what's in your city. You think this is it.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole world out there, and you can discover India, China, Africa, all in these books.
Take yourself on a mental
Let's
vacation.
Let's go on a magic carpet ride.
Take us through what are some things you're excited to see in regards to, you know, our expansion.
So first of all, the expansion is awesome. You know, I feel like it's going from a little city library to like now something that you can see in South Lake, something you can see in, you know, Keller Trophy Club, with just all the different expansions that you guys are doing here. I'm most excited about the outside theater,
Amplified,
the amplified
yeah,
theater.
amplified theater.
I keep wanting to call it amphibian, and I'm not sure. I think there is an amphibian theater somewhere, but yeah, amplified theater. And the reason why I'm most excited is because, of course, I'm into theater. And so just the idea of being able to come out on a weekend and see a live dancing performance or singing performance or a play or a skit,
anything.
yes, I think it just opens up the children to the arts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about that one too. It'll definitely, whenever it does come to pass, having those community events, those outside events, just bringing a community together, Forest Hill and Everman, and having those events for them. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to as well. But also, I'm looking forward to our AV recording, area where we can have those soundproof rooms to do stuff like this podcast, or people who have businesses do webinars and training seminars, maybe to rent out that space. And so, yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to.
Let's go. Let's get
it. Well, thank you, Ms. Kasha Hunt, for being on the show today.
Absolutely.
I think what you gave, what you ddelivered, what you poured out was great, man.
Awesome.
And keep going, keep moving forward, keep being spirit led, keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Because they need you. So.
Well, I just want to say it was an honor, a privilege to be on the show, and I know that we planned this a long time ago, and so I'm so glad to sit here with my water on this amazing platform and to be able to share.
Yeah. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
This is Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People. I am host with the most, Willie Beeman. We have an amazing guest, Ms. Kasha Hunt, on the show, who definitely delivered and poured out, what she does for our community. So we'll see y'all here soon. Don't go nowhere. See y'all shortly.
Hasta luego.
Peace.